Thank you, everyone, for attending the presentation on Voyager. I appreciate everybody taking a few minutes out of their day to learn a little bit more about Voyager, which is the fastest growing digital asset broker in North America. Our presentation is up on our website at investvoyager.com. Spend a few minutes, you can read all our disclosures. A couple things about Voyager I'm going to go into today and what makes Voyager special from the rest of the market. We call that the Voyager difference. First and foremost, we have built a very easy to use mobile app, and we have our desktop version in beta. But when we set out to build the company 3 years ago, our core focus was to build a mobile that was easy to use, crypto made simple, so that consumers can actually open the app and fund an account in 3 minutes or less. So you can basically download the app and get to your crypto journey in 3 minutes or less. But a couple other things that set us apart from the competition. We have coupled the ability to trade over 50 crypto assets with earning interest on over 20 of them with an interest rate of up to 9.5% on our USD dollar stable coin. So not only can you create your wealth from trading and earning alpha on the trading that you do, but you can also earn interest on the coins that you hold with us as well. Another thing that really sets us apart is the depth of the liquidity that we have, where we're connected to 10 plus exchanges and market centers and OTC desks across the globe. So we bring the biggest pool of liquidity to allow consumers the ability to trade in all market conditions without missing a beat. And the last thing that's not on here, we've been able to build a community around our Voyager token, and our loyalty program is the deepest community in crypto, where they can actually use our token to get benefits on our platform, and therefore really couple the ability to trade and earn interest with owning the coin and getting extra benefits. Some of the investment highlights that we like to focus on, and we break them into 4 different categories that you can see here, and I'll touch upon all 4 of them as we go on into the presentation. First and foremost is the massive market opportunity we believe crypto is, and we're not the only ones. We'll show you a quote later on here, but the crypto markets today are around 1 trillion, where the gold market cap is around 9 trillion. And then total investable assets around the globe is even bigger than that. We believe that the crypto markets will exceed gold over the next 5 years, and therefore be much larger than gold and be a bigger market opportunity. So you can see how big the massive market opportunity is for crypto across the globe. And why is that? Like, why have, traditional financial systems, they're ripe for distribution. And why is that? Well, first and foremost, with crypto, you can access your funds 24/7. You can move them around the globe at any point in time, 24/7, 365. So there's no time off. There's no breaks at 10 o'clock at night like the traditional banks have. The currencies are borderless. So if I'm in the US, I have a friend sitting in Spain, I can move my coins to them at any point in time, any time of the day, any time of the year. And then there's a growing concern about the traditional financial systems and the lack of trust in the bank. Overall, we've seen a pouring in of money in the U.S. economy over 2020 through the COVID virus and through the epidemic, and we expect to see over $1 trillion more of money being printed, which really devalues the currency and therefore makes Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies ripe for adoption and how big the market actually is. And if you don't believe me, how about Ben Bernanke, the ex-chairman of the Federal Reserve, saying how promising virtual currencies are because it really drives a much more efficient payment system. One of the things we like to show investors is how we're going to get to 20 billion of assets under management. We recently announced that we have 500 million, which is up from about 150 million in November. So just in literally 2 months, we've grown three times in 2 months. But our path to 20 billion is pretty simple. Based on a very simplistic model, we ended December 2020 with 40,000 accounts. And if we just grow the accounts at a 6.5% month over month, by 2025, we'll get to 1 million. And we'll show you how we're going to beat those numbers, because we expect ourselves to beat these numbers too. And at the end of 2020, we were averaging about 4,500 per customer account. We're already significantly higher than that now. We've announced that we grew our assets up to 500 million, which divided by the number of accounts, that asset is about 7,000 per an account now, 7,500 per an account now. So that target of 20 billion by 2025, we expect to exceed that on our, over the next couple of years. We're going to beat that probably, hopefully by 2 years. Some of the stats that I did previously mention here, just to get everybody on a level playing field about where Voyager is. We have over 500 million of customer assets on our platform today. We do trade over 50 digital assets, and like I mentioned, over 20 of them in interest-bearing accounts. We are only operational in the U.S. today. We're registered under FinCEN, and we operate in 49 states. We are also working with the Ontario Securities Commission about obtaining a license in Canada, which will allow us to enter Canada sometime in the earlier part of 2021 by March, April, so forth. And in Europe, we also have acquired a license, a PSAN license regulated by the AMF that will allow us to get into and offer our services in Europe in the second half of 2021. Some points to notice on our timeline. We began our operations in 2018. We got ourselves publicly listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange with a sister listing in the OTC markets in February 2019. And we've accomplished quite a bit in less than 2 years, including getting to 500 million of assets, including 3 acquisitions where we acquired, the first of which was we acquired Ethos, which is a wallet and IP acquisition in October of 2019, where we acquired some technology IP protocol that allows us to offer crypto transfers to our consumers, which allows us to become a really crypto deep agency brokerage. And then on top of that, we acquired accounts from Circle, one of the early adopters of crypto. As they went into the payment world, we stayed in the retail world, and they thought that the best place to put their customers was with us. Right choice as we've continued to grow the business. And additionally, the acquisition in France that I previously mentioned. We have a really attractive business model, and we get our customers from 4 different ways. Customers come to us because they're going to buy Bitcoin, one, or they're going to look at one of the other 50 altcoins that we have and invest in those coins. But in addition to that, consumers come to us and use our platform because they're looking for yield. They're looking to earn up to 9.5% on a USDC stablecoin when the banks are paying them 0, or they're going to earn 5.5% on the Bitcoin they hold with us. So they're yield seekers. And lastly, cost-conscious investors. We are a 0 commission broker. We do charge a spread. Our average Bitcoin spread is about 40 to 50 basis points, in that range. And if you compare it to the competitive landscape in the U.S. market today, many of the platforms, PayPal, Cash, they're about 200 plus basis points. So cost-conscious investors come to us to buy their cryptocurrency. We have had some compelling metrics that we want to get across. Our revenue growth has grown 75% quarter over quarter. We recently announced that we did 1.7 million of revenue in the month of December, and literally 2 weeks later, we're saying we're on a pace for 5 million of revenue for the month of January. So it's 3 times growth. So we're seeing significant economics with our business. Our AUM is accelerating. Our unit economics, where we acquire an account, we're getting that payback in 3 months or less now on account acquisition. And we have tremendous operating leverage, where we've actually had 1.5 million of operating margin improvement from the September quarter to the December quarter. We get our revenue from 4 different revenue streams, but it's 2 main revenue streams that I want to talk about today. First is trading revenue. That's the spreads we make on every trade. And second is the interest revenue, the revenue we earn on lending coins out and then giving that back to the consumer so they can earn interest. So on the trading side of the world, overall, actually, we earn about 10% of our AUM is our revenue target. So at 500 million of AUM, we'd expect to earn $50 million of top line revenue for the year. But as 500 million grows, and we think it will, to a higher level, 2, 3, 4 times by the end of the year, you could multiply it by 10% and expect that as our revenue annualized for the year. So like I was starting to say, the first piece is the trading side. So we earn spreads. Our average spreads on all our coins, whether it's altcoins or Bitcoin, the blended spread is about 60 basis points. And on that 60 basis points, our gross margin is about 80%. And then the other side of the equation is what we earn on assets. And on the asset side, we earn about 4.5% as interest when we loan the coins out or we stake the coins. We earn about 4.5% interest on that on an annual basis, of which we earn about a 10% margin, 10, 15% margin on that business. So combined, 60 basis points times 12 months is 7.2% and 4.5%. We can earn up to 12% on the AUM. Conservatively, we say 10%, but it's in the 10 to 12% of our AUM actually winds up being our top line revenue. Some of the key metrics, and again, all this information we put out in our public releases in the last few weeks, we're averaging over $6 million of net new money on the platform every single day. The principal value we're seeing trading is, if you take our AUM, it's turning over on the tune of between 1.25 and 1.5 times in a month. So 500 million assets, we'd expect to have somewhere around 750 million of principal value traded in a given month times the 60 basis points. That gives you an easy way to figure out our trading revenue in a given month. Now, some of the other, metrics that are very important, our account acquisition averaging about $35 an account, and our monthly revenue on those accounts is coming in around $30 an account. So as I mentioned with the gross margin, we get a gross margin payback of about 3 months on an account acquisition. Extremely compelling metrics on how we're growing the business. But then lastly, on key metrics, our user growth has gone month over month since its inception at 20%. But in the first 10 days of January, we grew our accounts by an extra 25%. So you can see what I mentioned earlier about getting to 1 million accounts at a 6.5% monthly growth for the next 4 or 5 years. We're exceeding that today. So we expect to exceed, how fast we're going to get to 1 million accounts. Some charts on some of our growth. The net deposits, net assets are accelerating. Just December 31st, 2019, we had all of $5 million of customer assets. We now have 500 million. That's a 100 times increase in less than 13 months. Cryptocurrency, our product, we found, a very good product market fit with our product. Consumers love our app. They come in with increasing deposits. So when a consumer starts with his first deposit, we get multiple deposits from every consumer. And they're trading multiple times in a given month. So we're seeing our assets grow. And to the trading volume, back in December 2019, we only did about 3 million of trading volume. And as of now, we're almost 400 million in January. So we've seen this, extensive growth already in just 13 months. And that's the product market fit that we have found when we offer trading and interest on customer assets and allow customers to create wealth through cryptocurrencies. And how do we get the customers? We have a few unique ways to acquire customers. Obviously the paid advertising efforts that we've been doing with digital ads on multiple platforms has been really effective for us. The other way, we have a very engaged social media platform where we push our own content out, and content is another channel that we started when we first started the business. And we craft our own newsletters twice a week and information about Voyager and the market twice a week. And that gets distributed through some of our partners as well, including Market Rebellion and including Sterling Trader Tech and some others that we have as well. We also have an extensive affiliate and influencer network as well, whereby we really get our information out through our consumers and our influencers. A couple of the major influencers that we have working for us today. We have a lot of crypto influencers. We have Marshall Faulk, NFL Hall of Famer. We've had NBA Hall of Famer Tracy McGrady work with us. And Stephen Piscotty, right fielder for the Oakland A's, is working with us, as they're all crypto enthusiasts, wanting to spread the word about either our interest-bearing products or Bitcoin or any of the other cryptocurrencies. What separates us from some of the competition? Well, you can look at that top line there and see we have the most coins, the most interest-bearing assets. We're commission-free. We send our trades to multiple destinations. We're not tied to one destination, and we're a publicly traded company. So when you look at us versus some of the exchanges, they're tied. It's one destination. They're not commission-free, and they're not publicly trading yet. Additionally, some of the interest-bearing players like BlockFi, limited number of coins, not commission-free. And again, when you want to trade on that platform, it pretty much goes to one exchange destination. And then the last three, Robinhood, PayPal, Cash App, most of them aren't commission-free. They're charging 200 basis points on a Bitcoin trade. They send all their trades to one place. If that exchange would somehow go down, you can't trade. We have 10 plus exchanges and market makers. So if one goes down, we allow you to trade somewhere else, and we can find a destination to execute your trade. Where are we going? How are we going to continue to grow this business as fast as we have been growing and grow our top line revenue and our AUM? Well, I mentioned the desktop. We're in beta. It's in the marketplace today. We have about 500 users on that and giving us feedback. We hope to launch that over the next month in full version out to the marketplace. We're working on a debit card so people can use their USDC, earn interest, and swipe their card and pay for traditional goods and services on a daily basis. We're also working on a margin product, equities, so that you can use your USDC and your Bitcoin and your VGX token and use that to buy stocks such as Tesla and Amazon and some other stocks in there. And then lastly, we're working with Visa on trying to work through a credit card that we could bring to market at some point as well. So you can see, there's the product expansion, the international expansion I mentioned earlier, and that's how we're going to grow our top line revenue. And it all gets supported by the scalable infrastructure we've put together. Now, the Voyager most people see is either the mobile app, which is the predominant way people see us today, and 500 people working on our web desktop version. But we also have an API. So that's how companies like Market Rebellion, which is an education platform that teaches consumers how to trade options, cryptocurrencies, equities, they have tied into our API. And they're led by two pretty well-known TV personalities, John and Pete Najarian. And they're teaching their consumers about how to use cryptocurrency, how to trade cryptocurrency using our APIs and our market data. Additionally, Sterling Trader Tech, one of the most active trading platforms across the globe, has 20,000 plus active traders. They use our API as well. And then we're talking to multiple banks and partners as well on using our API. But the part you don't see is even more impressive, because we've built our entire infrastructure from scratch, whether it's our market data and pricing engine, or it's the order management system, or it's the smart order router that we've built. All of those things have all been built from scratch. And it's all, when you think about the entire wrapper of the infrastructure, it all is regulatory compliant. Probably the most important thing is we're always working to make sure we work in the appropriate jurisdictions under the appropriate regulatory compliance infrastructures. US, we do the KYC, know your customer checks, the anti-money laundering checks. We're always making sure we abide by existing rules in place. Some of the innovative tech as well. We've built a custody and security system that works across multiple custodians. Our assets are not stored in one place. We have it across multiple custodians. That's for customer protection. Liquidity and execution, as I mentioned, we've built a smart order router that allows us to connect to multiple exchanges to bring the deepest pool of liquidity to the marketplace. And we have over 50 coins for people to trade these days. So they get various opportunities to trade multiple coins, whatever's hot they can trade, and not just Bitcoin. And it's all, again, one of the things that consumers really come to Voyager for is they believe it's a trusted and transparent crypto solution in a market that you can't always believe everybody and everything that is out there. First, we're an independent brokerage model, agency brokerage. We don't have any connections to any exchange. We send to wherever we can find the best execution. We're working towards SOC 1 and SOC 2 certifications. We mentioned we're a public company. We work with trusted and well-known partners. But on top of it all is the team that we've brought to the table to really build this business, whether it's the founding group, the co-founders, or it's the management team. It's an experienced team with over 100 years of combined experience in the capital markets and financial services industry. You can go to our website, see some of our trusted partners, but a lot of these are very familiar names to people. Banking, we work with BMO and Silvergate. On the custody side, BitGo, Ledger, Fireblock, some of the biggest names in the industry. We execute through guys like Coinbase and Cumberland and Jump Capital and others. So you can see we work with top of the line trusted partners. Now the founding group. Very intriguing founding group. Myself, I'm one of the co-founders and CEO. I spent many years at E-Trade. I helped build the E-Trade business. I was there from what I call the formative years from E-Trade in 1999 to 2006. I helped build the E-Trade business. I then went on to build my own online broker called Lightspeed Financial. Lightspeed Financial in 3 short years became the 3rd largest broker dealer in the US, focusing on active traders, doing 450,000 trades per day. So when you think about scalable technology and competence in building scalable technology, that's what we did at Lightspeed. Then I got into crypto and started the crypto journey. After me, you've got Philip Aton and Gaspar Dedruzzi, serial entrepreneurs that have built companies like TradeIt, Secure, Pager, some of these companies that are billion-dollar private companies. And then most notably is Oscar Salazar. Oscar was the founding CTO of Uber, brought the very first Uber app to the marketplace, knows a little bit about disruptive technologies, is extremely important on how we bring Voyager to the market and how we brought the first version, and as we grow and continue to be disruptive in the crypto financial services space. But as I mentioned, it doesn't stop there. The rest of the team, Gerard Hanchy, Janice Barrio, ex-E-Trade, Louis Bateman came on board, ex-CoinSquare. Then our CFO comes from big four, Price Waterhouse and Credit Suisse. Mike Legg has joined us to be our Chief Communications Officer after being an analyst for many years. And then our co-marketing heads, we split it up because they're so good in different areas, Natalie and Amatea with years of experience, from financial services companies. And then last slide, as I mentioned, we're going to grow the business. We've been really focused on our execution over the first 3 years. Literally, we've grown this business in 13 months, as mentioned, from 5 million of assets to 500 million, with expectations to 3 or 4x that by the end of this year. And we're doing that through product expansion and international expansion. And as we can get the word out and market more, we just recently completed a 40 million plus US dollar raise. We're very close to completing it. We announced it, all the final paperwork being done. We're going to have 40 million more dollars to be able to go and market and really grow the mass consumer acceptance. And then we think more regulation will come, which will help consumer acceptance. And then there's comps in the space, like Coinbase is noted to be going public on a confidential S1. Others are going into SPACs. Bakkt is going into a SPAC that's listed at $2.1 billion with no revenue and 100,000 emails. And you can see our numbers. We're $5 million of revenue for the month of January and, 200,000 plus users of our platform. So you can start looking at the comps and seeing where we fit in the public markets. We're excited to see more crypto companies, Bitcoin companies come to the market. And we think that'll be very good for our business and very good for our stock. So, I thank you for your time. Joe, if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Stephen, great presentation, and yes, there are a lot of questions from the audience. So I'll try and make my way through them. And since you kind of finished up there with a raise, there's a couple of questions. One related to any plans for an IPO in the U.S. And another one, why did you do a listing in Canada and not the U.S.? So I'll let you start with those two, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, great questions. Look, I think when we started our journey 3 years ago, we looked at the marketplaces that we thought best suited our company at that point in time. We felt the Canadian Securities Exchange and the venture exchanges up in Canada were the right place for us to get started. We'd love to go and expand up and graduate up to NASDAQ as we see all these SPACs taking place and the Coinbase S1. We'll follow very closely. We want to see how the SEC handles Coinbase's S1 and some of the crypto answers that they have to give. And we'll follow real closely. And if there's an opportunity presents itself, we will look to make that jump.
Okay, the next question. What is your plan to add value to the VGX token? Better volumes, liquidity, any plans to add trading pairs with VGX like what Binance has done with BNB?
Yeah, we look at a lot of things. I mean, we've announced that we're going to expand our loyalty program over the next couple of weeks. We're working on the creatives to get that to marketplace. We think there's some pretty cool stuff that we're coming out with on that loyalty program. As it relates to pairs, we keep, it's crypto made simple for us at this point in time. And so we keep it simple so consumers can actually see everything versus dollars. There's an open-ended question, and it's not really open-ended. The IRS has said crypto transactions are taxable. So we're trying to keep it simple for people Eventually, we will look to add different crypto to crypto pairs. But as of right now, we think that the model calls for us to just do everything versus the US dollar or USDC and work from there.
Since you mentioned this, we'll go to this one. There was a question about, can you talk about your loyalty programs?
We're working on it. You know, we have something in the marketplace today where consumers get added interest for holding a certain amount of the VGX token. In about 2+ weeks, when we get all the creatives done, we can definitely, I'll be able to talk more about the loyalty program at that point. Right now, I can't really share much, but it's coming.
Okay. The next question, since the market is 24/7, can you set a limit order to buy, sell crypto, and or use notifications in the app to alert the customer when crypto hits a target price?
Yeah, so I'll just amend that, 24/7, 365. So yep, it never sleeps. It's anyone remembers the old New York City, the Citibank commercials way back in the 70s and 80s. The city never sleeps. Crypto never sleeps. You know, so we do have limit orders in the platform. We're working on notifications. We don't have them yet, but you do have limit orders.
I'll toss this one out to you, but I know it's something you really can't answer. But I'll give you a shot. All right. How do you see Voyager doing when Coinbase goes public?
As I noted, we're excited to see more people and more crypto companies go and enter the public space. I think it's good for the industry. It's good for consumers. It's good for investors. It's good for the industry. You know, what I've heard on the street is that it's going to be trading 50 to 70, maybe higher times revenue. So I don't mind if they want to come out to the marketplace and trade at that level. Then, you know, we're a much smaller version. So maybe we get a little bit less valuation than 50 to 70, but anywhere close to that I think I'd have a lot of happy investors.
What are the future and current plans for the Ethos wallet that Voyager acquired?
Yeah, another really good question. We spent some time as a team thinking about that and evaluating that yesterday. We're working on a plan. We believe the wallet is an important aspect of what we acquired 15 months ago. Want to put some work into that. We believe decentralized finance is a wave of the future, and the wallet is really important for us to be able to participate and have consumers participate in that. So there's work getting done on that. It'll come slowly because we're trying to do it right. But there is work getting done on that.
I'll roll these two together because they're both finance oriented. One is, what is the gross margin on your revenue? And the second one is, at what point do you become profitable?
Well, let me handle the first one. As noted, we have two sides of our revenue. Predominantly it's trading revenue. We earn on average 60 basis points, and that's about 80% margin business. We expect our principal trading volume to be somewhere between 1.25 or 1.5 times our assets, so someone could do the math there. On the interest side, it's about 4.5% on the assets earned on an annual basis, paid out monthly, and we have about a 10 or 15% margin on that. So just get the calculator out. We can do that. And on the second comment, we haven't made note about when we expect to be profitable. We haven't disclosed that, so I'm not going to talk about that piece, unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough. Are you looking to increase transfer limits into Voyager beyond 5,000 a day?
Yeah, I think the question is probably referring to our initial cash deposits on the ACH system at 5,000 a day. Crypto deposits are unlimited. You can bring anything you want onto the platform at any point in time, and we welcome that. The cash, we're looking at that. We're looking at how to expand that. We've built a pretty cool risk system around things, so we're seeing how we can expand that as well, working with our payment provider and our banks in doing so.
I'll throw this one out to you. Not quite sure, but in response to Janet Yellen, pardon me, saying cryptos are used mainly for illegal activities.
You might have been right when you said yelling. Uh, look, I was just texting with my chairman about that beforehand. I think it's a good joke. I think, having spent some time speaking with the blockchains associations and working with my own congressman and so forth, I think that's a really small-minded opinion. I think that's not accurate at all. But I think, look, I think it just goes to show that we have a lot more education to do to our, the powers that be, the congressmen, senators, other government agents. Like, I don't think they understand it yet. We just have work to do. So, I think when you really start spending time and teaching people understand the value of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, and when that happens, and when the right people lobbying and spending time with Janet Yellen, she'll understand it a lot more. So I'm not overly worried about that at all. I just think that it's an easy comment to say, and you just need some time to get educated.
Right, agreed. Will the Europe rollout include the UK?
UK is an interesting animal when it comes to regulatory environment, working through ideas on how to, operate within Europe and especially the UK. Not 100% sure on that yet. So we know we can get into Europe, UK, with Brexit and all that. We're looking at what it will take to do that. Okay.
Someone wants to know what your view is on the Tether issue.
Look, I've seen a lot of articles written about Tether. I don't think it is as systematic an issue that some of these articles have said. But that said, we're a big believer in the USDC coin. We love what the consortium, the Center Consortium with Coinbase and Circle have done and where they're going. Circle's a big partner to us. We work with them a lot on the USDC coin. So we focus our energies on the USDC coin. I understand the issues with Tether, and it's a legal case now. So I guess between the state and Bitfinex and Tether but I don't think it's a systematic issue as of some of the articles I see, the doomsday articles I've seen written.
You mentioned the brothers. What is their role, partnership, and how will it evolve, if at all?
I am so excited to have John and Pete, partnered with us. I've known those guys a long time, from the days I ran Lightspeed and they ran their competing business and Trade Monster, which they wound up selling to, wound up eventually being sold to E-Trade. We're working with them. They're key components for us in getting the crypto word out and educating, as well as working with us on, as I mentioned, we want to bring stocks and trading to our platform. Those guys are deep in that knowledge. So bringing my knowledge of that with their knowledge of that, it's a really, it's a really coupled offering that when we come to market and figure something out on how we want to really do that and educate, it's a really strong partnership.
What are the greatest risks for a company like Voyager, and is there a correlation with Bitcoin's price and the performance of Voyager stock?
It's kind of funny. It was 2 Mondays ago, I think, that Bitcoin went from 40,000 to 32,000, right? And the world was ending. And we had our best day ever. So if there's a correlation, it's a mistake to have it correlated. Because if Bitcoin decreases and it's an active and it's a volatile asset, agency brokers like Voyager do very well on those days. More assets come into our platform, more trading happens on our platform. So even if people are selling off a little bit on Bitcoin, they may go buy Ether, they may go buy Voyager, they may go buy Bitcoin Cash, they may go buy Litecoin, they may go buy something else. So we see on volatile days like that, it's extremely active for us. So the correlation is actually there shouldn't be a correlation, to be honest, because Bitcoin goes down, our stock will go up, should go up because we're going to see more volume. Bitcoin goes up, we see more assets come on because people are afraid they're going to not have enough Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin. So the agency broker spot is the best spot to be in because it doesn't matter. We just want action and volatility in the markets because customers want to buy, sell, and be active. So I've always been in this market. This is how E-Trade was built. When E-Trade When I was there at E-Trade, when you had days that were down days, you had some of your best days. At Lightspeed, when the market collapsed, anyone remembers the flash crash day? Was Lightspeed's best day ever. It was the only platform that stayed up that day, so you can understand how we've built Voyager. And those days make agency brokers. It's volatile days are perfect. We love them. We want them. You know, we expect them. And these cryptos are volatile, and so that's why we've been able to grow our revenue so much.
When do you expect to be available in the state of New York?
We've been working real hard with the DFS. You know, they have a really long process, which we're working through. We have our whole team working on it, all upper management. We're hopeful in the next, next few months, as we've prepared all the documents and have a lot of our app rewritten to satisfy their requirements, hopeful in the next few months.
Do you offer crypto-backed loans to your customers?
Not at the present time.
Just a lot of questions here.
Probably a lot of dupes. Probably a lot of dupes. Same question for multiple parties, I would imagine.
Here's one. What is the difference between your stock and your token?
Oh, it's an easy one. You know, stock is stock. It's equity. Token is a utility, loyalty reward program. You earn more interest on programs. You earn reduced fees. So stock is stock. You get effectively you get a percent of the profits, a percent of the equity, and the token, you're not owning a percent of the equity. Someone wrote a really good article. It's on Medium. A fellow by the name of Patrick Ackerman wrote, and he writes a series of articles about the Voyager token and the Metcalfe theory, and how as we grow our consumers and there's more and more consumers, there's a limited supply of the token, and you need it to get certain benefits and get extra interest and extra benefits. And as our consumer base grows, it becomes a scarce asset. And that's really how people should look at the token. We're bringing these great benefits to consumers, and as it's becoming more and more of a scarce asset to get those benefits, I think there's value in those loyalty programs.
Any plans for Voyager to integrate with TurboTax or develop solutions to help customers manage their capital gains and taxes?
We don't integrate today. It's probably most likely going to happen for the tax year ending 2021. But if customers want, they can get a CSV file of all their activity. All they got to do is email support and ask for their CSV file, and we can deliver that out. But eventually we'll get there on that. But right now we're trying to focus on building more products so consumers can use and be engaged on the app a little bit more.
Are you allowed to short cryptos?
Not on our platform. There might be others out there, but not on our platform.
Okay, and I'm gonna end with this one here, Steve, because we're running out of time. But given the fact that you've got the shirt on with the logo, you got obviously here some very excited, loyal customers. When will Voyager merchandise be available for consumers to purchase to promote the brand?
Soon. It's one of our high priorities. I want more merch. I need more merch. And I get a lot of our influencers and folks want hats and shirts, and we're excited by that as well. We're excited people want to wear our logo and stuff, and so that means a lot to us. I mean, I'll leave you with this, because I think when people ask and they say they want the merch, what does that mean to us? That means we're doing something right by the consumer. That means our consumers, our customers, our loyalty program holders, we're doing something right by them. And I think any company in the retail space who puts the customer first, now customer first for us and security, because security has to be with that, customer first, it's the right way to be. And we try to do everything. Are we perfect all the time? Of course not. But we always, our mantra, everyone knows it, my team knows it, customers matter. It's the reason why we're in business. It's the reason why this business is going to grow. And I can't wait to get merch to them, because they all deserve it. They all should wear it, and it'll help us get more customers. But they are the most important thing to us as customers.
Fantastic answer. Well, Stephen, thank you very much. This was a great presentation, great Q&A. Could keep going on and on, but the time is up. Really interesting story. Can't wait to see how it unfolds here in the coming months. Seems to be, changing at such a rapid pace, which is all positive for you guys. Really want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to present here at NobleCon17. And again, we wish you the best going forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you guys having us here.